Good morning, everyone. My name is Bhavani Shankar, and I'm the technical lead responsible for software quality assurance at Miracle Software. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to explain you about continuous integration and testing. So today our agenda will be covering the Miracle story, what is continuous integration, need for continuous testing implementation in day-to-day scenarios, DevOps methodologies, continuous testing with DevOps, DevOps tools for continuous testing, the conclusion, and finally we'll go with the questions and answers. So before that, let me explain you about Miracle. Miracle is a 20-year-old private organization headquartered in Novi, Michigan. We are about 2,000 plus employees located across 4 continents with the major delivery centers across US, India, and Canada. Our passion for innovation through leadership and efficiency drives us to be different from others and makes us special. Going to the next slide. Miracle's core expertise comes up with throughout a hybrid delivery model. We can deliver low cost and high output services to our customers, which enables you to utilize our large set of certified resources and adopt to our accelerated frameworks to increase visibility, quality, and speed. So these are few of the you can say models which we use in our day-to-day practices. Move to the next slide. Our technology expertise goes through end-to-end areas covering cloud application development, application integration, ERP development, and support with big data and analytics and digital experience. Together we can help you to connect the dots and explore new options while focusing on your business needs and goals. Moving to the next slide. Industry verticals. Overall, we have almost all industry verticals like manufacturing and automotive, energy and utilities, logistics and supply chain, healthcare, pharmacy, retail industry, and banking and insurance. Almost all verticals we have touched in our day-to-day practice projects. Moving to the next slide is strategic partners. We are almost partners with most of our industry giants like IBM, Oracle, SAP, and HP. So over the years, we have formed numerous strategic partners to ensure that we serve our customers in the right way. Coming up to what is continuous integration. So continuous integration, as you know, is the process to execute automated test case as a part of your software delivery pipeline to obtain the immediate feedback on the business risk and identify the points where you need to work on associated with the software release in a candidate. And continuous integration helps you in encouraging the DevOps and systematic approach way towards the process improvement. Continuous testing platform reduces the time to release to market, and it also ensures you that you successfully have a continuous delivery process in all ahead. Moving to the next slide. What is the need for continuous testing? The need for continuous testing can be explained in the 4 boxes which we can justify. Like, it helps you to extend agile and lean practices across all the delivery life cycle, and it removes traditional testing bottlenecks like unavailable test environments to increase the efficiency of continuous testing. It enables your team to test earlier with a greater coverage at a lower cost instead of doing it at the end of the time with a less coverage and the higher cost. It provides project teams with continuous feedback on software quality and to reduce business risks. So this is how the continuous development goes in sync with continuous testing, and continuous testing moves in hand to hand to continuous delivery. Moving to the next slide. Continuous testing implementation. So continuous testing can be implemented by applying a lean methodology, as we saw in the earlier slide, which is the agile methodology. And one of such methodology is DevOps. And in DevOps, we have the development is the practice which we say, and it goes hand in hand with QA, and together they go hand in hand with the operations. So together they already need to have communication, integration, and collaboration, which is a major part which plays in DevOps as a whole, and it gives rise to continuous integration, continuous testing, and continuous delivery. Moving up to the next slide. So what is DevOps methodology? DevOps is an extension of Agile software development methodology, which lays emphasis on communication, collaboration, and integration among various stakeholders in the software development process, that is development, testing, and operations. So these are the key components of any DevOps practice which we go ahead and which are continuous integration, continuous testing, and continuous delivery. Moving to next slide, which is why do we need DevOps? So I have few points which I have highlighted overall in the points which I have listed down, and in which we can have an emphasis on that. So first one is time to value. So when we use DevOps as a practice of using agile methodology, and it helps us to increase our value to the customer, and also it helps us to complete the task within less time and having a cost efficiency also. So what is the, as I discussed now, so reduces cost and time to delivery. So it, as we use the HR methodology or process for following using DevOps, it reduces the cost and time to delivery for market, and increases the test coverage. So when we do testing, the continuous testing from the starting of development and along with testing, then what happens is we have a large various kinds of coverage which comes into place, and we have large scope of coverage, and which we can make sure that we can cover most of the defects which are not going to leak into production. So what is the minimum mean time to resolution of production issues? So what you say, like, what is the mean time to resolution of production issues? So production issues are found only when we have testing, when we have a issue that has been leaked into production. So when we find any production issue, so the time taken to open the production issue and the time taken to close the production issue is called the mean time to resolution. So whenever we have using DevOps, we can minimize these kind of production issues. Moving to the next slide. So continuous testing with DevOps. So this is a typical diagram which we use over, which is a typical life cycle which we follow over here for DevOps. So the requirements are gathered over here, and then there are process to development, and after the continuous development integration happens, then it comes to continuous testing. Once we have the scripts and scripts executed using continuous testing with automation tools, it goes to continuous delivery, and using the CI tool, continuous integration tools, we create build, creation, and deployment according with the automation tools, and finally it is released to market once after we test it thoroughly. So overall, if you can see, once after the product is released to the market, and if we have any new features or enhancements which are as a part of market release, next market release, we can add them up to the market release and capture them in the next requirements. And so this is a kind of typical graph which we can say the value and collaboration graph in terms of agile development, continuous integration, continuous delivery, and DevOps. So the graph keeps on increasing and increasing, and the value is increasing at the end of the DevOps, which is say that it gives good value and good collaboration with the customer, and also cost efficient and time is being saved by the customer while we use DevOps. Moving to the next slide, integrating automated testing into DevOps. So what are 3 points which we can say that 3 reasons why should we consider integrating our automation testing into DevOps? So these are the 3 points which I can say that automation testing saves time, and automation testing ensures quality, and automation testing reduces the cost to the delivery or cost to market. And why automation solution is right. So we can say that in terms of which solution we want to proceed or which solution we want to capture, and find out which is right for us in terms of finding automation solution. We can say that there are numerous solutions and numerous tools available in the market, out of which one would be the right one for our, or which one would be the right fit for our use. So in that we need to find out these points as a major constraint and follow and check for these points. So it reuses or not the deployment process across environments. We need to make sure that across all environments, we need to make sure that it can be reusable. It is a reusable deployment process or not, and it coordinates application deployments across multiple tiers or not. So it is not only a single tier or a 2 tier or 3 tier. It should be able to process across any entire multiple applications, and it integrates with existing technologies or not. So whether if you are using the latest technology, and even though if we have a latest version or an updated version coming up in the next future, so it should be able to integrate with that technology and along with existing technology also. So easily extendable to support future technologies. So what we're saying right now, so it should be able to be extendable to support the future technologies and which are coming up in the future. and provides role-based security and approval gates. So whatever it gives permission or access, it should be authenticated based on the roles available in that application, and maintains logs of all commands executed in deployment. It should maintain the logs of whatever commands it has executed during the build deployment, as it is an automated, it is done using automated tool, and tracks who deployed which version of a certain deployable artifact to which target. So we need to make sure that we are maintaining the logs, and we are maintaining the track of who deployed which version of an artifact or a document in which target, and deploys infrastructure, middleware, database, networking, and storage configurations, which is totally called as infrastructure as a code, or we can also call it infrastructure as a service. Moving to the next slide. So this is the typical DevOps tool and lifecycle management, which we can go through over here. So these are the first point of touch, we can say, the Confluence and Basecamp, which are called as the project and team management tools available in the market. And the next one is the SDLC workflow and management, which is done using Jazz. And the development tools or development application management is done using GitHub, which GitHub is used for the code merging, and also for what you can say, the code arrangement, integration of the code. And issue tracking, which is used can be used by using Jira. And for source control, we can use Subversion or other tools which are available in the market. And for continuous integration or continuous build, we can say initially, which is used by Maven or Apache Ant. And for continuous integration, we use Jenkins or Bamboo, and we also have IBM Urban Code. For test harness, we can say JUnit, TestNG, Cucumber, Emma, and Sonar are the basic applications or basic tools which are used for test harness, using for doing the automation testing on the application. And for continuous delivery, to make sure that the deployment and the build and the testing is done continuously, to make sure that all the deployments are done, environments are set up. For that delivery and configuration management, we use Chef for Puppet Labs, and along with that, we have continuous performance testing management tools available like Dynatrace and Apache JMeter. So this completely comes up with the lifecycle management and the tools which are used for DevOps. So going to the next slide. So till now we have seen the theoretical part of test automation and how are we going to do some continuous delivery process. So automating test scenarios lets you to cut the money and time, which I already been saying till now. So let me explain you with some very simple numbers, taking an average case on while doing a manual and automation testing using DevOps. So we have three teams over here. Teams A is completely done over manual testing. Team B has partially done with manual and partially done with automation. Team C has a very less number of manual and a very high number of automation done. And in that, how are the timings and how are the costs going to affect, we're going to see in the later slides. Moving to the next slide. So this is a test scenario which I'm executing for all the three teams accordingly with the same number of scenarios split across manual and automation. So the number of scenarios, test scenarios that you done manually for team A is 1000, which are, there are no automation scenarios executed. And for team B, we have 500 manual scenarios which are executed and 500 automation scenarios which are equally split. And for team C, we have 200 manual scenarios and 800 automated scenarios which are all split across team C. And this is the time taken to set up an environment for a build, which is equal across all the teams, which is 10 minutes. And time taken to test each scenario. So if you have 1000 scenarios, what is the mean time for executing each scenario? Approximately is 10 minutes. We have assumed over here. So if you have number of testers working on each project, if you have 5 testers who are manually working for team A and 5 testers who are working for team B, we can split them as 3 members who are working for manually, 2 members who are working for automation. And for team C, we have a large proportion for automation. So we can say we have 3 members for automation and 2 members who are working for manual. So if we can split accordingly, and we can say that for doing a single check-in manually, what is the time consumed for team A? When we do the calculations for build time and everything, it comes up around 2010 minutes accordingly, which is approximately 4 days. And for team B, if we calculate the same thing for 500 manual test cases and 500 automation test cases, it is coming across approximately 2 days. And for team C, if we calculate the same proportion for 200 manual test cases and 800 automation test cases, considering the point that we have put in a very good configuration of hardware to make sure that the system does the work within 20 minutes. So it comes in within less than a day. So let us go and see what is the difference in graphs. So cost of testing for deployment. Automation testing does not only reduces your cycle times, and it also improves your cost of each deployment. And this cost reduction happens in two ways. The earlier one, feedback given to the developer. So automation test improves the quality of builds and that the testers work on and provided they give up the green builds. And direct resolution reduction in the test cost as number of people are needed to run the same set of tests over and over. So this direct cost reduction is easily explained using the same teams which we have earlier saw in the above graph or above slide. So I'm assuming a modest of $50 an hour for each tester. So let us see what is the cost variance which is for across each team. So this is the cost of testing per deployment. So when we see in team A for 2010 minutes, for the 5 testers, the amount of what cost which is incurred is $100,000. And if we go for team B, it is approximately around $50,000. And for team C, it is the least cost which we have encountered with a very quick time of resolution within less than a day, which is $20,000. So this is the cost which is incurred in per deployment. Moving to the next slide, cost of testing over 2 years. So if we continue for 2 years, the same kind of teams, so what would be the change of cost of deployment, and what would be the time of deployment change would be found in this. So this is how is the cost over 2 years for team A would be around, which is it's around $48 million, 4.8 of you can say $4.8 million, and for team B it is about cost $3.2 million, and for team C it is a very considering for team A and team B it is around $1.5 million. Moving to the next slide. So what are the benefits which we can avail through continuous integration and testing? So we can say that 85% of our time reduction for rejection test cycle has been done from 2 weeks to 1.5 days, and it also reduces the build time from 30 minutes to 5 minutes or even lesser, and also helps us in automating our deployments to all the environments. We can automate all the deployment tasks for QA development and production environments with automation tools. And 80% of the reduction in defect leakage to production. So we can say that if we are doing an automation testing through automation tools, we can say that 80% of our defects would not be leaked into production. And it also reduces the time to market through streamlining testing and continuous delivery using the DevOps. It also sustains continuous feedback and improvement across the software lifecycle, and in turn it emphasizes that the foster an environment of collaborative development, collaborative testing, continuous release and deployment, and continuous monitoring, which helps us to improve the quality by its monitoring performance. Moving to the next slide. So continuous testing reduces your regression test cycle time and ensures low cost at the same time. Automated tests help you to achieve reliability, reusability, speed, accuracy, as well as help you to build far more effective and happy teams that test while they develop. Incorporating DevOps QA testing helps organizations to develop a seamless development and production environment with a continuous feedback, which is made possible through continuous testing using DevOps. So this is the end of the webinar, and if you have any questions, I'm open up.
Thank you, Bhavani. Now we are open for questions. Now we are open for question and answer session. If you do have any questions, please raise your hand or put your questions on the right side chat box. I repeat, if you do have any questions, please raise your hand or put your questions on the right side chat box. Bhavani, we got a question from Matt. He asked, what are the challenges of using CI in a cloud environment?
Okay, so we have many challenges using continuous integration because we can say one of the misconceptions about CI is like the infrastructure, because infrastructure we can't keep it at one location. So, and it is not even static. The reason is the idea of integration and infrastructure is like it can be spun across various locations. So, for example, it is not even necessarily true that all the functional test cases run within the same unit. We need to make sure that it is running across various locations and it is constant across whatever location the client wants to work on. So, in that case, when if CI fails, most often it is like lack of planning around what is the process which we have followed, and if the process is solid or the process which we are following is good, then it relatively is it's easy to introduce whatever number of integration environments we can use and have an oversight of whatever results, and we can make sure it is repeatedly used.
We got one more question from Ratnaji. He asked, in what methodology CI is fit for QA testing?
In what methodology? Actually, as I said, it is used using lean methodology. We use the lean methodology for whatever integration and continuous integration testing. We use the lean methodology for DevOps using the continuous testing.
Thank you, Bhavani. Thank you, Ratnaji. We hope we have answered your question. If anyone do have any questions, please raise your hand or send your questions in the right side chat box. Moving forward for the next slide. Here we can see we have upcoming webinars. The webinar which is going to be held on November 10th is Building the Cognitive Enterprise with Watson Developer Cloud. And the next one would be Watson IoT Deep Dive, the antimony of an IoT solution, which is going to be held on November 16th. Still, we have a lot more webinar to watch. Please check out more at www.miraclesoft.com/webinars and please register these too. Coming to the next slide, digital transformation and Miracle. Miracle also do provide health check workshops, digital transformation workshops, and we also provide POCs accompanied by demos. So our lab and central of access teams could help us to build a roadmap for our next generation. As well as we do provide 24/7 services to our customers, provided with their full satisfaction. Coming to the next slide, you can send an email to us at info@miraclesoft.com, or you can visit more at www.miraclesoft.com. You can tweet at team_NSS. For YouTube channel, you can visit youtube.com/miracle45625. If you are a Facebook fan, you can check it out, facebook.com/miracle45625. With all this being said, I would like to end up this webinar. Thank you for joining this webinar. Have a great day.